leading players. And it sounds a little bit cliche, but it really is true when it comes to this matchup. A number 2 defense against a number 2 offense, but the inside football aspect of this is what's so interesting. The Dolphins love to blitz. You heard that from Teddy Bruschi last hour. They're 38% blitz per play, per game. And that's 4th in the NFL at this point. The problem with that is Patrick Mahomes is the best in the NFL against the blitz. He's got 12 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a passer rating of 138. Behind the scenes, the Dolphins know this. They know that the Chiefs play well against what they do well. Brian Flores has been very good at being a chameleon this year. It will be interesting if they're willing to go away from what they do best today to try to throw a wrench into the Chiefs system. The problem here again, though, Tyreek Hill, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, both on the injury report this week. Both will play today. The Chiefs' offense is at full strength, and that, Sam, is a very scary thought.
Yeah, no doubt. That's always scary when you're going up against the Chiefs' full strength. But, Matt, what do you think it will take for the Dolphins to pull off the upset today?
Yeah, they're going to have to score a ton of points, and they've scored a lot of points on defense this year, being aggressive with that all-out blitz, but they cannot. I agree with what Darlington said. I agree with what you said earlier, Teddy. They cannot live that way against the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City's just got too much speed, and you've seen them do it against bad teams. Like, they're even giving up huge plays against teams that are not lighting the league on fire, like Kansas City. This is cover 0, 0 blitz. That means everyone's one-on-one with off coverage, off and inside coverage. This is against the Jets. The Jets made them pay for it. This is against the LA Chargers. Again, off coverage, about 7 and 8 yards, flat-footed. If you can buy time, that looks like Mahomes. You think like Tyreek Hill can't score on something like that? Kelsey, here we are again. Those are all 3rd downs. This is just 3rd and 2. Off coverage, looking back at the quarterback. 3rd and 2. This is the Cincinnati Bengals. Touchdown, make them pay. So this is not the way. I get it. Your offense isn't scoring a lot of points. You think your defense has to score points. I think 31 points is the number. 31 points is what they're going to have to score, but they can't give up those big plays like that. They need to make Kansas City get bored, go the long, hard road, not give them gimmies.
Brian Flores is a great coach, and you're exactly right about that, Hasselbeck. You can't do what you've been doing if you realize the threat. The greatest coaches can anticipate. If I do this, the player that he is, that you're seeing on screen right now, he will make me pay. So why should I do it? So B-Flow is going to come with other concepts. He's going to come with more single high safety to help on the deep routes. He's going to have robbers. Darlington mentioned 14 guys on the field. Well, in the past, he's fooled Mahomes to thinking, no, it is an all-out blitz, but I'm dropping one out, and it's an extra guy that you didn't see. That type of stuff you'll see. 3-man rush, 8 back, those type of things. B-Flow knows this guy right here, you want to send a free runner at him, you don't have a chance, and that's what I'm waiting to see.
Yeah, Brew, I agree with you. I mean, it's got to be simulated pressure. It does try to beat their protection, but you can't risk in man coverage, and you want to. Look, this team's built to match up man coverage. You heard Jeff Darlington talk about how, statistically they're at the top in all those man coverage things, but not against this opponent. Man, they win every one of those matchups. Travis Kelce, he's going to beat whoever you got out there. The Cheetah's going to beat whoever you got out there. Sammy Watkins, like all these guys, you lose every matchup. So you can't do it. And B-Flow's smart enough, but I agree with you, Brew. I think it's simulated pressure and things like that today.
And there's differences in man coverage. Sorry to cut you off, Randy. Like, there's difference. Off coverage, I don't think is the strength of the Miami Dolphins sometimes.
Yeah, it's not.
But that press coverage, they can excel where there is like some help, some deep help if you lose at the line of scrimmage.
You're talking about sending a lot of pressure at Patrick Mahomes. That's when I think the offense of Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy gets creative. And you put a tape together of those playing cover 0 with the cornerbacks playing, about 10 yards off?
7 or 8 yards.
That's where their creativity comes from, being able to get the ball in their playmakers' hand. Have you ever seen Kelsey with a quick screen? You ever seen Tyreek Hill with a quick screen? We talk about the track speed that they have on their offense for Kansas City. So the Miami Dolphins, and you made a great point, Brian Flores is a great defensive-minded coach, but he has to be a little careful with how he sends his pressure and how far the secondary backs off because of the speed there. But let me talk about something in the red zone for the Miami Dolphins. I think they play lights-out red zone defense. So the Kansas City Chiefs, what do they like to use in the red zone? They like to use Travis Kelce. So they have to be careful, like I just said, Brew, about how they play their man coverage because of what Kansas City does so well offensively.
To do everything that we're talking about, okay, there's an element of disguise. with the Miami Dolphin defense. And one of the biggest inactives of today may be Kyle Van Noy. Because if he can't go and implement all of those disguises and be the one that either rushes or drops out of there to help in the middle of the field, in the middle of the intermediate middle, that is a huge loss for the Miami Dolphins today.
Yeah, both Van Noy and Roberts inactive in that game, so that makes it tough when you're playing a team like the Chiefs. Matt, I know you said 31 points. I think it's got to be even maybe 5 more, because if you look at Patrick Mahomes' losses in his career, his last 9 games, and the opposing team that's beaten him averages 36 points. So if you're Tua today, can you put up 36 points against the Kansas City Chiefs? Yes, good luck with that. Meanwhile, in the AFC, in Buffalo, the Steelers off a short week after their first loss on Monday night against Washington. Steelers can clinch a playoff berth with a win against the Bills. They played in Week 15 last season, and the Bills won to clinch the playoffs. Look, they're close.
I should still be on there. The champion should still be on top right there.
We dropped it down on his birthday?
I got
Feels a little dirty.
Like more talking about Andy Dalton. I got benched on my birthday. What's that all
I do
about?
feel a little bit. Actually, I don't. Let's make some picks, starting with the Colts and the Raiders. What do you think, Randy?
You know, you heard John Gruden talking about that workhorse he has for him in the backfield. Hopefully he plays today. That gives me the Raiders at home. Going with them, Josh Jacobs.
Well, Ed Ward had talked about Phillip Rivers has a little bit mobility. No, he doesn't, but he can move in the pocket a little bit. That offensive line's got to protect him. If they do, I think the Colts win. Give me the Colts.
I'm going to go with the Colts. If I'm a linebacker for the Colts like Darius Leonard or Anthony Walker Jr., it's party time because DeForest Buckner's back, okay? Colts defense make the plays to win.
Yeah, listen, this Colts defense is dominating. I'll take the Colts also because up front, they're winning their matchups. And last week, it was Justin Houston. 3 sacks for him alone last week. This D-line is getting after it, and that is everybody's friend. Yes, Teddy, you mentioned the linebackers, but you know who loves it just as much? The secondary.
Yes.
If you're a DB, you look so much better than you really are when that D-line is feasting. Justin Houston and company, they're feasting.
All right, I'm going to agree with you on that. I'm going with the Colts. Both of these teams have been really hot and cold this season. I just trust Phillip Rivers and Indy more right now. Let's get to the Cardinals and the Giants. This one at MetLife. Two teams kind of going in opposite directions. Can the Cardinals stop it today?
Man, I just heard a piece of the players talking about how have they gotten better this season. They said coaching. I like what Joe Judge brings to the table. I'm going with the Giants at home.
Yeah, I want to go with the Giants, too, if Daniel Jones was truly healthy. I don't think he is. We talked about it earlier in the show that he'd get out there, on one leg. I think that's what he's doing here. I don't think he's healthy. And I think it's time for Kyler Murray, Cliff Kingsbury. Man, you got to step up. You have no chance of the playoffs. You don't win this one today. So I'm going to take the Cardinals.
Yeah, Cliff will get them ready, but I'm going to take the Giants because I just respect the grind. I respect it, and that's what the Giants are showing. And you brought up Patrick Graham, defensive coordinator. Blake Martinez, he's active. He'll make some plays. There we go.
Yeah, I think the key for Kyler Murray in Arizona, though, is they can just call designed quarterback runs. When he runs the ball 5 times or more, which isn't hard, that's not hard to do, they're 10-2. When he runs it less than 5 times on a design run, they're 1-14-1. There it is. There's your formula. Run Kyler on design runs. That's the last thing that New York Giants defense wants to chase after. I'll take Arizona.
Yeah, I think they're going to run him more. He just hasn't been doing much on the ground the last few weeks. And I just don't believe that Kyler can still struggle running the ball and DeAndre Hopkins can still struggle catching the ball as much as they have been. I think they get that ship righted today and the Cardinals get the win. Let's get to Washington and the 49ers. Matt talked about the reunion game for Alex Smith. Who do you think wins it?
Man, when Alex Smith is not Alex Smith going back to California, because I think the game is in Arizona.
Yeah.
But I like what the Washington football team has been doing as of lately. Knowing what the 49ers have offense, they have a lot of key injuries out. Give me the Washington football team on the road.
Yeah, I like it. That Washington football team is led by that unbelievable defensive line. And so to me, man, I mean, they still got all those injuries. No Garoppolo again, no Kittle again. So to me, man, that front 4 of the Washington football team, I think they're the difference. Give me them.
Yeah, the front 4 is dominant. Alex Smith doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I'm going with the football team also.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I wish I could find out what game time decisions are actually going to be up for Washington. That's the toughest. Without that knowledge right now, I'll take San Francisco. I think they're very creative, finding ways to run the ball, and even some of their throws are kind of like runs. That's not always the case with teams, but I'll take San Francisco in a tough game.
Obviously coming off a huge win. We like what we saw from Washington, but no Antonio Gibson, and I don't know, this San Francisco 49ers team, I feel like I can't figure them out because they show flashes even with all the injuries that they've had. So I'm going with the Niners today. It's time now to get to Mort and Adam for some Subway good calls as teams release their actives and inactives.
Yeah, Sam, listen, Jeffrey Okudah, who was the third pick in the draft by the Detroit Lions, he's down for the season because of injury. And it just goes back to the fact that people wonder whether the Lions should have taken a quarterback, like a Tua Tagovailoa or Justin Herbert. But that wasn't to be. They took Okudah, and that means that Aaron Rodgers, gets to face a Lions secondary that is riddled with problems and injuries. And I would go ahead and take it to the bank, Adam, that Aaron Rodgers has another decent day against the Lions.
How about the Dolphins in their running back situation? Myles Gaskin tested positive for COVID. He's going to miss the next 2 games. So he's out today against the Kansas City Chiefs. They already were missing Salvon Ahmed as well as Matt Breida also on the COVID list. And that leaves the Lions running back today as DeAndre Washington, who they oddly enough got in a trade from Kansas City in November. Washington could be the workhorse along with